Dear God, hi. This is the first time I'm writing to you. I'm sure you know why. But I'm excited I am. This wasn't always the case. So, this school year has been rough. I have good friends, good teachers. All of that is fine. But my grades weren't that great. Not all my grades. I was amazing at math, like really good. It just made sense to me. But when it came to English class, well, I just couldn't get it. I mean, I was trying really hard to get it. But I kept having to bring home tests with D's for my dad to sign. Dad wasn't mad. He was just concerned. He kept asking me if I was doing all my homework, studying, and trying as hard as I could. And I told him I was. But it's just a hard subject for me. I just didn't know why. My friend Bobby even tried to help. He'd come over and I would help him with math, and he would help, well, try to help me with English. But even that was more frustrating than helpful. I just felt horrible, and honestly, I thought I was, well, not smart. But then one day, something clicked for my dad. He realized that maybe it wasn't because I wasn't trying hard. Maybe something else was going on. Dad took me to this specialist. Apparently she has experience helping people with a condition called dyslexia. It's when your brain jumbles up all the letters on a page and makes it really hard to learn. And it turns out, that's what I have. So, I started working with Dr. Spellman. By the way, can you believe that's her real name? Funny, right? But I started working with Dr. Spellman regularly, and now I'm doing better in class. Not A+ good, but way better. Anyways, I just wanted to say things looked rough. I wasn't sure if I would even pass my class. But once we found out what the problem was, it gave me hope. There was something I could do about it. Thanks, God, for Dad's help. Thanks for Dr. Spellman. And thanks for Bobby helping me along. Now if I could just get Bobby to understand algebra. Talk with. Scratch that. Right. See you later, God. Love, Jenny.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Careful.
Hey, welcome to Story Lab.
This week, we're taking a look at the hardest and best story of all time.
One with an amazing ending. Happy Easter, everyone!
I'm Skylar.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're talking about why the story of Jesus is good news.
And all the ways that it can give us hope.
Nice cocoon.
Cocoon?
Not a cocoon, it's
Cocoons are for the common, ordinary moths. This is a chrysalis.
Right. The caterpillar forms a chrysalis, morphs around, and then pops out as a butterfly.
There's so many things wrong with that statement. I don't even know where to start.
Okay, Professor S, drop some knowledge.
Let's explore it. Welcome to the Inside Scoop with Sebastian.
Taking notes.
We begin with a humble caterpillar.
Is he hungry?
Well, let's say he's already eaten his picnic lunch. When the time is right, the caterpillar sheds its outer layer, revealing the hard shell chrysalis right here. Inside the chrysalis, the caterpillar releases special enzymes that dissolve most of its body.
Okay, ew.
Totally liquefied.
I guess I thought the parts just kind of switched around a little.
Nope, caterpillar smoothie.
Oof, I never realized.
But in the caterpillar soup, special cells called the imaginal disc start waking up. Each of those cells has a special genetic recipe to form part of a butterfly.
How long does that take?
About 3 weeks.
Woo! Well, while we wait, it's time for...
The story before the story.
Today, we're in John, the 4th book of the New Testament.
In the beginning, God created everything through Jesus.
But when people turned away from God, the world was broken.
God loves us way too much to leave us on our own. So, God chose one family, the Israelites, and promised to bless the whole world through them.
Many years later, God fulfilled that promise by sending Jesus, God's own son.
Jesus traveled the land, teaching and healing. He showed perfectly what it means to love God and love others.
But the religious leaders were upset. When Jesus entered Jerusalem for Passover week, they made a plan to get rid of him.
Which is where our story starts.
Take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Erica. Happy Easter! But before we get on with our amazing celebration of Easter Sunday, we have to travel back in time through Saturday, Friday, all the way to Thursday evening. Let me set the scene so we can put ourselves right there and imagine we're watching the story right in front of us. Ready? Here we go! Jesus has just finished eating a very special Passover meal with his friends. You should know that one of them, Judas, snuck out early. Another one, Peter, promised to stick with Jesus no matter what. Now, Jesus and his friends cross the dark Kidron Valley to a garden called Gethsemane, where they often go to pray. Judas knows they'll come here, and he's made a terrible choice to betray Jesus. Judas leads a mob of soldiers and officials into the garden and straight up to Jesus. And here's the thing, Jesus knows exactly what's going to happen, but he doesn't run.
Who do you want?
Jesus of Nazareth?
I am he.
The soldiers and officials are so overwhelmed that they actually fall to the ground. Jesus could just walk away, but instead, he allows the soldiers to arrest him. The mob takes Jesus for questioning. Jesus' friends have scattered, but Peter and John trail along behind.
Hey, you're one of Jesus' followers, right?
What? No way, not me.
After all, Peter's boasting that he would never reject Jesus. Peter 3 times denies he's a friend of Jesus. Jesus is then sent to Caiaphas, the high priest. The whole trial is faked. They're just looking for a reason to condemn Jesus. At last, in the early morning, Jesus is sent to the Roman governor, Pilate.
Are you the king of the Jews?
I came into the world to be a witness to the truth. Everyone who is on the side of truth listens to me.
Pilate can't find a single thing against Jesus, but he has Jesus whipped to keep the religious leaders happy. Soldiers twist thorns into a crown and place it on Jesus' head. Then Pilate brings him back to the crowd.
I find no basis for a charge against him.
Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him!
Even though Pilate is powerful, he's afraid of the crowd. He knows that if he lets them get out of control, he could lose his position. So at last, Pilate hands Jesus over to be crucified. Jesus is forced to carry the heavy beams of his cross through the streets and out to the hill of Golgotha. Here, Jesus is nailed to the rough wooden cross. He hangs there between 2 thieves through the scorching heat of the day. Only Jesus' mother, Mary, along with Mary Magdalene, several other women, and John, have been brave enough to stay. Remember, Jesus is God's son. He could just jump off that cross. He could call on angels to take down the Romans, but he doesn't. Jesus knows that the only way to make a way for us is to give up his life. At last, Jesus cried out.
It is finished.
Then Jesus bows his head and dies. In this moment, all hope seems to die too. The sun goes dark, the earth shakes, even rocks split apart. A man named Joseph of Arimathea and a religious leader, Nicodemus, ask Pilate for permission to take Jesus' body. They place it in a tomb, cut into the rock. Jesus' friends are devastated. Most of them deserted Jesus, and now he's gone. They're filled with questions.
What happens now?
Will the soldiers come for us?
Does anything matter anymore?
They huddle behind locked doors through Friday night and all day Saturday, the day of rest. Then, early Sunday morning, Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb to place spices on Jesus' body.
The stone! It's been rolled away, and he's gone. Jesus is gone.
In shock, Mary Magdalene runs to tell Jesus' other friends. Peter and John have to see for themselves. They race to the tomb.
He's gone, just like Mary said.
There are the linen cloths that were wrapped around his body.
Peter and John leave, confused. But Mary Magdalene has followed behind them. She stays at the tomb, tears streaming down her face. But when she looks in the tomb once again, she spies two brilliant angels. Turning back, she sees a figure standing there. Through her tears, she thinks it must be the gardener.
Why are you crying? Who are you looking for?
Sir, did you carry him away? Tell me where you put him.
Mary.
In that moment, Mary understands. It's Jesus, alive. Can you imagine the overwhelming flood of joy and amazement?
Teacher!
Do not hold on to me. Tell them I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God.
Mary Magdalene rushes back to tell Peter and John and Jesus' other friends of the incredible news. Jesus is alive! Peter later writes about it this way: "Give praise to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his great mercy, he has given us a new birth and a living hope. This hope is living because Jesus Christ rose from the dead." And that is the end.
We're so used to saying that Jesus is alive, but sometimes we forget how mind-blowing that is.
It's literally the best news ever.
That's right. Jesus' return to life changes everything.
So, what's our part in the story?
Think about it this way. Have you ever gotten an invitation to a party that you were super excited about?
Yeah, like a pool party.
Yeah, you know it's gonna be awesome.
Easter is an invitation too. An invitation to follow Jesus and be part of this incredible story that God is telling. Without Jesus, we were separated from God. But Jesus took the consequences of our sin, our wrong choices, when he gave us his life.
But Jesus didn't stay dead.
Nope. When Jesus returned to life, he defeated death. Now death doesn't have to be the end of the story. When we choose to turn away from the wrong things we've done and follow Jesus, we get to live with God forever.
So even though Easter starts in a really dark place,
It doesn't stay there.
You're right. Easter is all about hope.
hope is believing that something good can come out of something bad.
Because Jesus is alive. You can have hope no matter what you face.
Following Jesus doesn't mean that hard things in your life will just go away, but it does mean that Jesus will be right there with you every step of the way.
I feel like celebrating right now.
He is risen.
He is risen indeed. See you next time.
Bye.
So here's the thing. Whatever happens, remember Jesus is alive.
After 3 dark days, his friends had the most incredible reason to celebrate.
And we can celebrate too.
Oh, I know a special way to do that right now. Hey, he's done! Meet Maverick the Monarch. newly emerged from his chrysalis.
He's beautiful.
Nothing at all like that caterpillar soup.
The most amazing, beautiful creature, and it came out of the biggest goopy mess.
Thanks for joining us in the Story Lab. See you next time.
Think you'd like some jelly beans?
This is probably more of his style.